Turning 30 was a bit of a whirlwind. It was filled with a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but a lot of good stuff in between. Many fun activities, unexpected trips, and just trying to figure out what 30s meant to me. Now I'm turning 31, and although I don't have things figured out, I definitely feel like I'm in a lot better headspace. There's still a lot to learn, and I'm still trying to figure things out, but at least I'm happier, and I hope that this helps you. Whatever stage in life that you're in, I hope this helps to make you feel not alone. Everyone kind of struggles, everyone's trying to figure things out, and I'm just trying to share what I've learned this past year. What is up, you guys? Welcome back. I kind of wanted to do a video talking about kind of my first year in my 30s. I'm turning 31 on March 5th, so it's exciting. It's definitely a different, I feel like I'm in a different mindset than I was turning 30. And I feel like I wanted to talk through a bit of some of my thoughts, especially because today I'm going to have a little bit of a self-care day. So I'm going to go to a coffee shop, I'm going to go to a trail and just walk. So it'll be a very chill day, and I didn't want this to be like a vlog, but I just wanted to talk through kind of my thoughts and experiences because I don't know, I feel like I want this to be helpful. I feel like I don't want just my channel to be like, here's what I'm doing. I definitely want to like share some insight with you guys, be your internet big sister, if you will, because I feel like I was a late bloomer. I feel like I didn't get myself together until I was like in my late 20s, where I was like, oh, I should do stuff that I enjoy, try new things. It wasn't until my late 20s. I lived a lot of my life in just fear. I'm a very scared, anxious person. I consider myself a late bloomer, so obviously going into my 30s was very like, I think that kind of added to my anxiety of like, oh my gosh, now I feel like I'm in my 30s and I should be in this certain part of my life, and I wasn't. So I kind of want to talk again about what I've been feeling and just take you guys around my day, because obviously like self-care became so important to me in this past year, and I'm just like, yay, self-care, like look at the outside, but like genuinely taking care of myself like deep inside. So I'm just gonna share you guys what I'm doing today, share some points about how I've been feeling, some experiences that I experienced, just so you guys can relate and all of that stuff. So I'm so grateful because it got sunny like right when I was getting out of the house. It's been like cloudy all morning, so thank God, just perfect timing, y'all. So right now I'm gonna head to a coffee shop first. I do need to work on some stuff, so I'm gonna do that and then head to the trail. And yes, it's gonna be a good time. So I hope this helps you guys, because I definitely want to share like my heart with you guys. So yes, let's do this. Hi guys, we're gonna drink our coffee while we talk in the car. Honestly, I kind of wanted to talk while I was in the coffee shop, but I'm still very shy about filming in public. And it was actually so nice out. I was sitting outside and I was just doing some stuff on my laptop, so at least I got to enjoy it for a bit. But then I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna be able to talk because your girl is still very shy. So yes, so like I said, I turned 30 last year, so I'm gonna be turning 31. I feel like turning 30 has been a very weird experience, and I think it's also because so many different people have a very different experience with it. There's people who felt like me where we were very overwhelmed, very confused. It just feels like such a big age change. But then there was people that were like, you know what, 30s are way better than your 20s because you're a little bit more settled, you kind of have a little bit more like focus, you kind of know where you're at type of situation. And I feel like that stressed me out in both ways, because I'm actually very happy with my job, I'm happy with the routine that I have, but then at the same time I was like, am I doing enough? Am I in the right place? So I feel like the first thing I wanted to talk about is expectations. I think expectations that other people had is what kind of made it a lot harder for me. For example, like I just have a full-time job, I work, I go to the gym, I have a pretty chill life and I enjoy it. Like I love having chill days like this, like just having a day out for myself. We can go get coffee, and I'm gonna go obviously to the trail right now, just have a little walk. I love that, like I'm happy with that. But again, there's people that are like, oh, like you're still not married, you still don't have kids. It was just more like stressful that people kept saying stuff like that, because again, when people say 30, they think you're like more adultier, you know, where like in your 20s, when you turn 20, there's more leeway. People know that you're younger, you're just trying to figure things out. I think it was like when you turn 30, people feel like you need to be like adultier, like you need to have it more together, and that was again very stressful. And again, it's more necessarily from other people's perspective that was stressing me out, because again, for me myself, like thinking about it now, I'm pretty content with where I am in life. So what was stressing me out more was just the expectations other people had for me, or like just what they assumed my life in my 30s will look like, which again, who cares what people think, which I will get to that later. Which is so funny that I didn't want to film while I was in the coffee shop because I was shy. So do I still care about what people think? I don't know. But yeah, like I feel like expectations were like the worst. Like I did very much enjoy my singleness life. Like I'm still very much enjoying it. I'm still not married. I still don't have kids, and I'm okay with that. Again, I think one of the biggest things too is that like there's people like the older you get, it's gonna be harder for you to have kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, that added so much stress for me. A good chunk for my 20s, I just was hard set on not having kids, like at all. Not having kids was like whatever. Actually, once I started turning 30, I was like, oh my gosh, like the older that I get, the less of a chance I have to like think about it, if that makes sense. So that also started stressing me out, because again, people were just like throwing all these like, oh, what about this, what about that. So I remember like the first few months of me turning 30 was just so stressful. I just felt like I was failing at what my life should have looked like, which again, other people's perspective. I remember, again, my birthday's in March, so the first few months were rough, and during Mother's Day I had made my mom a cake, which I love baking. And like I come from a Hispanic background, my parents are Mexican, so during our Mother's Day celebration there was like other people around, and they were eating my cake, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And someone made like the comment of like, oh, now that you know how to bake, you can get married now. And I remember it made me so mad. And honestly, like if you're Hispanic, you might have heard a variation of this comment. It's meant to be like a lighthearted joke, but honestly, at the time, since I was already getting so stressed out of like these expectations, it made me so aggravated, because I was like, no, I want to bake for myself. I'm baking because it makes me happy. Like I'm not baking because I feel like I need to meet this requirement for marriage, you know? I feel like what made the first few months a lot harder was not me. It was this feeling that like people were looking at my life and being like, what is she doing now that she's 30, you know? Like she should be doing this or this other thing. And obviously my life wasn't turning out that way, and honestly I'm okay with, like I said, I'm pretty satisfied with the way I'm living my life right now. Like I'm not upset about anything. I'm pretty content with where I'm at, which is honestly huge for me to like admit, especially like after graduating college like years ago. Like you just want to be in a different point in your life, but like now I can definitely say like I enjoy this like calmness vibes. Like maybe it's also because I'm getting older and I'm like, I just want to be calm. That added a lot to that, you know? I will say that I'm very grateful for like my generation and the generations to come, because I feel like they're also breaking down those like barriers or like these perspectives of like where you should be in life. Because again, the world is so much more different now. Look at the freaking economy. Majority of us, like the statistics in the US of how you can afford like an apartment is insane right now. So I feel like I'm very grateful for my generation. I'm a millennial, obviously. The rest like Gen Z and stuff, because I feel like we're breaking down of like what we should be in life. Everyone's taking their own route, and that's okay. Like we should be happy that everyone has like the chance to do whatever they want with their lives, because I feel like, again, perspective, would I have loved to be married by now? Like sure, I would have loved that, but like if it's not gonna turn out for me like it hasn't turned out, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, my life sucks because I'm not, you know? It's just the route that I'm in. Obviously I'm hoping it happens one day, but I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, like I'm not where I should be in life because that hasn't happened, you know? So expectations just kind of suck. And again, I feel like it's one of those things that I have personally learned to just not listen to people. Actually, this is gonna be my last point, but I'm gonna move it up to now. But you generally do stop caring about a lot of things the older you get. I have heard about this from like way older people that are like, you know, the older you get, you don't care about like trends and all that stuff. And honestly, it is so true. Like right now, I can honestly say I'm in the point in my life that I genuinely do not care about like people, what they think about me, and it feels great. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm gonna do myself, I'm gonna do my thing. Salem Tamar actually has a great video on like aesthetics and all those trends, which I'll link down below, because I think it's a great video for like to everyone to watch, because I do see her point of honestly like I don't care about trends. I actually do not like TikTok at all. I don't have a TikTok. I hate anything short video form. I do not care about it. I didn't even like Vine when it was around. But like she was talking about like aesthetics, how it's just becoming so trendy that like you have to be this one thing, and she was like, just be yourself. You can like multiple things. You don't have to fit into this specific mold. And honestly, I see that so much more now that I'm like, dude, I don't care. I don't think I have the greatest sense of style, but that's okay. Like I'm enjoying this. Like I'm literally wearing a sweater and leggings right now because I just want to be cozy. Like I don't care to look like a very specific way, or like, oh my gosh, I need to meet this type of aesthetic because it's popular now. Honestly, the older you get, the more you just don't care. You just want to be happy. You just want to be doing your own thing, and that's okay. Again, Salem goes into this a lot more, so again, I'll include her video in the description box. And she's like, okay, if you like certain aspects of an aesthetic, you know, that's fine. You should go for it. If you like it, go for it. But it's like when you're just purposely being like, oh no, like this is what this vibe is, and I'm gonna go full in even if I don't like it. If you like aspects of it, go for it. If you like aspects of this other thing, go for that as well. Like don't just limit yourself to like, oh, this is what I should be looking like, because I feel like that's my whole thing. Again, the more older you get, you're just like, I don't care, like I'm just gonna do what makes me happy. Who cares what people say? It is what it is, you know? And that was honestly, like, again, it's a big thing for me to learn. I will say, like, a lot of my like life has been trying to fit in the place that I am. Like, everyone wants to fit in. That's not like a crazy concept. Like, everyone wants to fit in. And obviously if you're in that part of life where you're like, oh my gosh, like, especially like if you're in like high school and stuff, like it's tougher for you. I am very grateful in that part of aging where like I genuinely do not care. I see stuff going viral on the internet and I'm like, cool, good for you guys. I'm just gonna stick with what I am. I still have my hydro flask that's like so beat up, but I'm just trying to drink water because I need more to be hydrated, you know? I feel like obviously the way the internet is as well, like nowadays, there's just so many things that you're like, oh my gosh, they're being thrown at you and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to keep up with this. And honestly, you really don't. Again, if you genuinely like a certain aspect of something, just go for it. I feel like my taste in music is like a prime example because I listen to like rock and all of that stuff, but then I love K-pop as well. I'm also Hispanic, so I listen to like a lot of Spanish music, which is like such different vibes. Again, I'm a child of the 90s. I have like 90s hip-hop. Like, my taste in music is all over the place. I have a whole playlist just called All of the Songs. That is like every song ever. So it's so funny because if I have it playing, like it'll play like a worship song and then it'll go into like BTS and then it'll go into like, I don't know, Paramore. Like, it's just weird. It's just stuff that I generally like. It doesn't fit a certain category and I'm okay with that. But then going back to like people themselves, like, again, I feel like this again relates to the first point of expectations. It's just like, you generally do not care about what people are saying. The older that you get, you start living your life a little bit more intentionally of like, I want to just be happy. I want to know that I'm content with my life, you know? Especially with the people that you have around you. Like, I love my family so much. I've always loved my family, like that's given, but I feel like the older I get, the more I appreciate the time with them and the more that I'm like, I want to make sure that we're all happy. If there's anyone that like I know will call me out, is my family because they have my back the most. But it's also like, okay, I don't care about like what happens on the internet, you know? Like, for example, I feel like I love Instagram, but I kind of lost the fire to want to post on Instagram because there are sometimes that I'm like, why am I posting this story? Like, who cares? I don't really care about like impressing anyone. Like, obviously I'll still post stories because there's sometimes I'm like, oh, I love this is cute, or like this is what I'm doing today. But like in that, like there's sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to post, but then I'm like, why? There's no one that I feel like I want to impress, you know? I feel like that's a weird way to explain it. Like, I obviously still love sharing. I love YouTube, obviously, if you guys see, like I love vlogging. It's just so much fun for me. I feel like I do want to have my content bring something to the table. Like I said, I want to be like the big sister and give you guys advice. Like, it's not just because I'm like, let me post this cool thing that I'm doing, woo. It's definitely more than just being like, I want to be cool, look at this, cool. Like, I generally want to bring something to the table, you know? And I feel like that's something that, again, I lost the love of Instagram. Like, I would post every week before. Like, I was like, I need to get a cool picture and post it up, and it's kind of, you're just gonna get likes, and then for what, you know? So I do appreciate that from like growing up, of just being like, you know what, I just rather be happy with who I am, make sure that I'm happy, make sure that the people that I'm closest with are happy. Really, who cares about what other people are saying? People are always gonna talk. That's a whole thing. You're never gonna make anyone happy, especially with the internet. I feel like reels on Instagram is just like insane territory. Like, literally this morning I was watching someone cut a cheesecake and the people were fighting in the comments, and I'm like, she's just cutting a cheesecake. People are always gonna have some weird response. I feel like, again, that was like one of the biggest points that I've come through of like, who cares what people are saying? Make sure you're happy. So yes, before I get to my next point, I'm actually gonna head out to the trail so you guys can see me that, and I obviously don't want to be out too late, so let's go do this. We're gonna enjoy nature right now, you guys. Something else I want to talk about is loneliness. I feel like loneliness is a very like tough situation just because everyone's at a very different stage of their life. I have friends who are similar as me, still single, living life. I have other friends that are married and have kids and like live in other states, and it's all great. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm so happy for everyone, but it's kind of that feeling of like when you graduate high school and college and like everyone kind of moves away and does their own thing. It's just that magnified by like a thousand, because like everyone's a lot busier, everyone's doing their own thing even more, and you're just kind of having to navigate that and being like, where do I fit in everyone's life? I'm also very introverted, and I'm like the type of person that hates bothering people. It's really hard for me to reach out to people, and again, that's a me thing. Like, that's not like a thing, that's just a me thing. But you do have to navigate with like everyone just doing their own thing and just feeling like, again, going back to like expectations, like, oh my gosh, am I not in the same like situation as everyone else? It's just kind of hard to deal with that. And then it's very hard to kind of make friends at this age, because it's kind of like, where do you really go, you know? You definitely try to like very hard to just make friends, see where you're at, all of that situation. It's definitely tough. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, it's thriving. I'm also not gonna say I'm like perfect at it. I feel like this is something that goes in waves, where sometimes I'm like super fine, like I'm by myself walking and I'm totally cool. But like sometimes I'm like, oh, I do wish I had more group of friends, you know? Thankfully I do have my family, I have a best friend, so like it's not that I'm completely alone, but it does feel very lonely of like, I don't feel like I have that core group. Again, social media plays into that of like being like, oh my gosh, all these people are thriving and like have 1,000 friends. But it's just something to deal with. Again, this is not necessarily just with your 30s. I feel like you start feeling this more in your 20s as well, because again, once you start working, once like everyone else starts building their lives, it feels very lonely. So just something that continues on. Something that's also very important is that you really learn what self-care is. Again, talking about Salem's video, I feel like a lot of trends just focus on like self-care and how it looks on the outside, but like once you get older, you just start caring about yourself, like actual health-wise inside. For example, I'm here walking just because I feel like I need fresh air. I just need to move a little bit. Like, I'm not trying to be like running miles right now. I just want to make sure that I get some air, get some sun, but also like I just feel like I need to take care of myself long-term wise. Like, self-care is great, and I feel like it's very popular at the moment, and it should be popular because we should all be taking care of ourselves. But I feel like let's not fall into a whole making it an aesthetic as well, like of the outside, when it should be definitely deep inside. Because like, for example, I definitely care more about the inside at the moment, of like making sure that my health is okay, making sure I take precautions to make sure that I'm healthy in the inside, make sure I drink my water, because again, water is important. Wear my sunscreen just because it actually helps my skin. Again, I feel like there was a point where like the skincare community felt like super hard on sunscreen and people were getting tired of it. Going into skincare can be a whole topic in itself, because again, I feel like a lot of skincare right now is gravitated to like looking young, when it should just be of like making sure your skin is just great, you know? It's not about looking young. Like, I don't care about getting older, you know? Like, I have gray hairs, you know? I'm fine with it. You definitely have to learn to take care of yourself. I know someone who's going through skin cancer, and like one thing they mention a lot is making sure that you're doing like sunscreen because it takes care of your skin, not because you want to look a certain way, which again, looking a certain way is not bad, but make sure you're doing it because you definitely want to take care of yourself, you know? I feel like anything from this video can be taken of just making sure that you're taking care of yourself first instead of caring what other people think. And I think that's the most important thing that you learn as you get older, and something that is, I think, is beneficial very long term, because you realize you're all that you have, and as long as you're happy, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Make sure you're taking care of yourself first, make sure you're loving yourself, and just knowing that you're living a life that you're generally proud of and you generally want to enjoy. That is it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a little bit something, and just something to just think about, I guess. Like, this is just things that I experienced and learned, so I just want to share that with you guys so you guys can just navigate through life, you know? Being 30 isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Again, it's something that I kind of grew into and just kind of accepted, so I'm very happy with this age of life. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of ups and downs, and there's still a lot of ups and downs. Like, life, it's just life goes through like waves, you know? So I'm just happy, and I hope that you guys can relate with this, or just again give you something to think about and just how to navigate life. Life is just complicated, but we can do this. I believe in all of us. So that is it for this video. Like I said, I hope that helped. Let me know if anything resonated with you guys. I would love to hear your comments down below. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know whatever age you are and how you're feeling in that current age, because I feel like every age has like a certain thing, you know? So let me know how you guys are feeling, all of that stuff, anything that you're currently going through that you're like, man, like this is something that like I'm learning. I would love to hear all of that below. Like, again, I want this content to be something you guys relate with, and like us building a genuine community, and like I want to generally know about you guys and all that stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe if you guys like all this lifestyle content. I try to do videos like this where I sit down and just talk about you know, thoughts, and obviously vlogs here and there. So hope you guys enjoy that, and that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.